I'm married to a techie guy, which is why I look kind of ridiculous right now with this setup. I don't even know what he uses these regularly, so.
Allison Jones also has a podcast she does, but anyway. All right, so this round is not something that I gave you all that we were going to be doing, staff. I didn't give you this round. I gave you everything else, but I didn't give you this round. And I'm going to let Allie answer first, simply because if there's a delay, I'd rather it be at the beginning than the end with us all saying this, okay? So after I do this, it's going to go Allie, Jason, Clay, Steph, Wes, every time on this particular thing. And it's just favorites. I'll read two things and you tell me which one is yours. Everybody understand? Just say yes so I don't have to move my head.
Yes, we get it.
Okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke. I don't drink pop and haven't for about 6
Hold on. Auditorium members, y'all don't talk on this. You got us confused. I heard some of you sharing. We love you, but this is our night. So we'll start that again. Allie, Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke.
I don't drink pop. Haven't had one in like 15, 16, 17 years.
Cool guy.
Coke.
Pepsi if I have to choose between those two.
Prefer Surge.
All right. I would, I don't know. I guess I would say Coke. I don't drink pop either. Sweet or savory?
Both.
Is that an answer?
They don't want to, y'all want to accept that from her, staff? Staff?
No.
No.
That's my answer too.
Like at the same time. Like I like them together.
S'mores. Sweet.
What?
S'mores with chicken? Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry. Trying to figure out how in the world is s'mores savory.
Right.
Okay.
Right now, I would murder for a carb, so sweet.
What did you say, Jason?
He said sweet.
Okay, Steph?
I'm gonna say savory.
Sweet.
Savory. Football or basketball?
Neither.
Football.
Allison, you watch basketball all the time.
Not anymore because the Thunder aren't
They
good.
still
Oh, okay.
football.
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 Football. Tacos, hard or soft? You have to pick one.
Crunchy.
Hard.
Soft. I like the traditional ones that are barbacoa with a little onion, a little cilantro.
Go ahead, Steph.
I like them together in one bite. So crunchy with the tortilla on the outside.
A
Both
gordito.
together.
Crunchy.
Soft. Mountains or ocean?
Mountain.
Either.
Mountains.
Ocean.
Ocean.
Mountains. Doing the dishes or doing laundry?
Probably. Can I just like start a load and leave it for somebody else to do? Because that's what everybody does to me.
I did that yesterday.
Probably the dishes.
Okay.
Laundry.
He's a sissy. Anyway, you should have heard what Jamie, you should have heard what he said up here. Anyway, laundry.
Dishes.
Dishes.
Laundry, I guess. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
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 I want a cat.
I will go ahead and say meow. Anyway, okay. Car or truck?
Car. SUV. I don't know.
Truck.
A truck.
Car.
Truck.
Car. During worship, sitting or standing?
Standing.
Do I get to clap and tap my feet?
Jason?
Either.
Standing because I love Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Standing.
Standing.
All right. Oh, me? I will go ahead and tell you that I have learned with the new wave of music where we stand that you stay much more connected and much more involved in worship than you do when you're sitting. That's what I think. And my whole life I have said. But I found for me, I stay way more connected standing than I do sitting. So we're going to start standing during preaching too. JK.
Everybody's going to fall out.
Yeah. Driving, slow or fast?
Fast.
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 Slow.
Fast.
Luxuriously.
Fast.
Probably slow. Fast, okay.
All lies.
Candy, chocolate or fruity?
Chocolate covered cherries.
Disgusting. Chocolate.
Golly, it depends on my mood. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Pasta, rice, or potatoes?
Pasta.
Golly.
Potatoes.
Casserole with all of them thrown together.
He's not lying.
Probably funeral potatoes, though. I'll go specific. Funeral potatoes.
Gnocchi.
Potatoes.
I don't really very often eat any of them anymore, so I'm going to probably have to say potatoes because there's so many varieties. Like those wedges that the chicken places have are good dipped in barbecue sauce. But anyway, I had one down and I had to cross it out because the few people I asked it, they had no idea what I was talking about. And I'm not so sure that Steph may not be the only one up here that knows what I'm talking about. I'll say it. Paper or plastic?
Plastic.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Whatever's
Grocery bags.
easiest.
Wow, praise God. What?
Plastic.
I can carry a whole lot more with plastic, but I like the feel of paper.
Ditto.
Paper.
Don't care.
Good, better for the environment.
Text or talk?
Text.
Talk.
Talk really loudly.
Talk. Yeah.
Amen. That boy talks
Talk.
louder than anybody you ever seen in your life.
Text.
Text.
Text. Win an argument or just let it go? And I know all of you will.
Depends on who I'm arguing with.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's assume it's someone you're very comfortable with.
Win the argument.
It's your turn.
Jace? They're loving that I can't move my neck this afternoon.
I was wondering.
Snake.
I love this.
Win.
I try to walk away and let it go, but I usually just win.
Let it go. Let it go.
Win.
I used to really have to win. I don't as often as I used to. I'm more apt to just let it go or think about it longer and maybe even change my mind. And I think the office staff would probably.
What do you think, Allie? Think that's accurate? Or I'm just kidding.
I think they would all agree with that.
I
if
do
they would
agree
be
with your
honest.
statement.
Yeah, thank you, Larry. It's like, I don't know what we're talking about, but it could have been that important. I have learned this, a little preaching while we're here. Well, sort of. A lot of times if you sleep before you voice your opinion on something that's really bothering you, you determine that it wasn't even necessary to voice when you wake up the next morning. So remember that. I know it says, let not the sun go down on your wrath, but sometimes a night's rest makes a big difference in how you feel about something. All right, so get to know you. You have a few minutes to answer these questions. So we have ministry questions and we have get to know you questions. The first get to know you question is this: if you had 4 hours to yourself and $100 to burn, what would you do? And I will let Wes start this one.
So this is just by myself?
Yeah.
4 hours to yourself.
Okay. Well,
They said, can you include somebody else? But no, it has to be fine.
No, it's
so-
you, man. Quit trying to change the rules.
okay. I'm just staying at home because I don't go out by myself.
100 in the bank.
Okay, so I really had to think long and hard about this because all the things that I would want to do in that 4 hours would take more than $100. So I determined that I would go get a full body massage and then go find some big body of water to just sit and stare and be with the Lord.
Is it me? Can you look at me? Give me the nod next time. I'd run and I'd buy some extra ammo, and then I would stop by and get a slab of ribs, and then I would go and just shoot some of my guns probably for a little while and eat some ribs all at the same time.
He was country
And
when country wasn't cool.
Yeah, I'd probably be really cool. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I would go to Beacon and get a number 1 with cheese, fries, and large cherry limeade, and I would go to the golf course until my 4 hours were up.
I would probably go to Walmart and pick out the coolest Lego set they had and go home and put it together all by myself. But it might take longer than 4 hours.
Okay.
You want to show us your most recent Harry Potter Lego
I
set?
cannot show you because it's not complete and I will not move it.
Okay.
But it's about 4 feet from me right now.
I would get in my car and I would drive to the Chinese foot massage place in Tulsa on 71st and Sheridan. And I would get about a 1.5 hour one and tell them not to use their elbows on my back. Then I would go to Claremore and I would pull in Taco Tico.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
And I would forget diabetes and keto. And I would order 2 combo burritos, add sour cream, a double enchilada, 2 tacos, some refried beans, and some Crustos. That's what I used to eat that got me as big as I used to be. And I'd drive home, and that'd be about 4 hours, and I'd be happy as a lark. Jason, I'm not commentating on yours. Hello? I can't see you, but I hear you.
Poor guy.
Get to know you. What is a personality trait you have that causes you to have the most difficulty with people? I'm sorry, I just looked up at Jamie Snyder when I read that, and I saw you kind of go, yeah. And we're going to let the spouses answer for the, no, I'm kidding you. Allie, you start this one.
Oh, good. Probably there's 2 that I'm kind of unsure of. So I'll just go with probably my stubborn nature. I'll go with that.
But do you want to elaborate how does it cause you problems? How does it cause you problems with people?
Well, you remember the question that you asked about needing to win arguments and things like that? Sometimes people that are like that, other people don't really like that much.
Okay.
It can be off-putting.
Why don't you? Never mind. Jason, let's go with you.
Thank you. I think wanting to be right with people probably causes me the most problems.
He didn't hear because he was getting a music stance.
You
His left
think
ear's not
wanting
working.
to be right with people causes you the most problems?
Mm-hmm.
How does that cause you problems?
Because I want them to feel the same way. Is that fair? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yes? No? My wife says no.
I'm not following, but this is a good answer.
I want to be agreeable. I want people to be agreeable.
So you
My
don't
wife
always
would
share what you
disagree.
really think because of that? Is that what you mean?
Say that again?
So you don't always share what you really think
Right.
because of that? Okay.
Agreed.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, Clay?
I'm probably too funny.
That would
No,
be a flaw.
I would say probably I can tend to have a hard time of seeing other people's point of view or where they're coming from, which kind of can lead to, I don't know if I hate to say a lack of compassion because that sounds really bad. But
True, though.
I can tend to think people are silly. And then usually whenever I address, I don't know, maybe a little too straightforward as well. Did I give more than one?
But I like to, you want me to sum that up?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're mean and you like to hurt people.
Exactly.
Sorry, there's a story behind that. Steph?
I have a tendency to try to analyze people, and I do it so that I can understand where they're coming from and relate to them and create harmony in the world. But that also causes me to make assumptions about people and their intent and their motivations, and that is not always correct, and so that has caused some issues for me.
Okay. Wesley?
Well, I had to ask Anna, and she had a good list for me. But one thing that I do, I feel like I don't let a lot of things bother me. And then in turn, I don't know when things are bothering other people because it's not a big deal to me, and that causes problems.
All right, next question. I think mine is that when I am, unfortunately, I'm in a career that this happens a lot. When I am overly busy and have more to do than I can possibly get done, I get frustrated quickly. And I don't hide the frustration well, especially with the people that are in and out of my life every single day, the office staff, family. I try to put on the minister face for members, but sometimes I'm extremely irritable and don't hide it well when it's crazy busy. And sometimes it is. So, because of that, I have to say a lot of apologies sometimes. I'm sorry, Clay pushed me over the edge and I was hateful to you.
We should have done something.
Do I want to hear this?
We should have made it like a game show where after everybody answers on Family Feud, they're all like, good answer, yeah, good answer, and clap. We should do that after.
I disagree.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be the guy that makes the decision. If you feel led, go ahead. Jamie, would you like to clap for Jason? I mean, not really. Katie, would you take over that for him?
Thank you.
Jason, Tom Martindale loves you.
I know.
If you
Tom
want to
loves
clap
me.
and say, yeah, good answer, go ahead. If you don't, you can be a loser. Just kidding. Ministry. What are some unknown hurdles in ministry that people not in ministry may not see? Wes.
Get your notes out.
Yeah. With the kids, the children's ministry area, it's tricky with scheduling things because one week we may have 20, 30 kids. Next week we may have 6, 5. I think there might be one person back there with Jamie tonight. It's kind of
There were 23 last week.
There were 23 kids back there last week. But we've reduced the ages back there this week. And then it's just tricky scheduling, because it's kind of frustrating if you're teaching and then you show up and then you've spent time preparing and then there's one person or two people back there. It can be frustrating. So that, to me, that's an unknown that you don't see. And then I was just thinking, the other thing, a lot of you know because you're active here, but if you're not active, there's an enormous amount of people that it takes for a Sunday service to happen here. Huge amount of people. Huge. And pulling that all together is hard.
Who was?
There you go. I'm going to have to say along the same lines. In my ministry, attendance of choir members. people get sick, people go out of town, and when your numbers are down like ours are, it's obvious when we're missing so many people. So those of you who are in our membership or maybe who are just regular attenders who like to sing and you're not in the choir, you need to be in the choir. We got a new choir member tonight. Excited. It's not that hard, and our people will love you and rejoice that you're with us, because we just have a good time praising the Lord. You don't have to be able to read music. I'm doing an advertisement. Is that okay? You don't have to be able to read music. You don't have to do anything but sing and love the Lord. And Jason is the exception. We accept everybody but Jason. I think Luke just volunteered. Luke can sing.
What's the question?
What are some unknown hurdles in ministry that people not in ministry may not see?
I thought of two. The first one was feeling unheard, or like a gong that just keeps sounding that nobody else can listen to, or that nobody else can hear or adhere to or listen to. That would be one of the things that I feel like is a struggle in ministry. And the second thing would be maybe that a lot of people might not see is the not self-worth, but the constant self-evaluation almost, or if things aren't necessarily meeting your expectations, and thinking nobody's hearing, nobody's listening, we're not growing, and nobody's coming, and it's because of me. And it can be easy to kind of think that when that's not the truth. It's because of you. I'm sorry, that was really straightforward. That was that personality trait. But so that's the two things: feeling like your voice is annoying and not being heard, and the second is just feeling like, or questioning, I guess maybe, is it something I'm doing? Whenever things aren't working out necessarily or going quite like I figured they would.
Precious.
You skip Jay? Yeah. Jay.
Precious, hold on a minute. Precious, number 2.
Thank you.
I just heard Jamie call you that this morning, so I thought I'd go ahead.
That's her pet name for me. Everybody wants to be served, and very few want to serve. And I don't think, like, when I think of how something's going to affect me, and I'm talking about me personally, when I think of the time it takes for me to do something, I very rarely think that everybody else is busy too. So we've all got great ideas, but we're not all great facilitators. Meaning, we.
Okay. Al.
For mine in particular, what came to mind was choosing songs, and not like on a week-to-week basis, but like choosing songs that I want to, like a new song, like songs that I want to bring into our song database, library, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot that goes into that for me. And like, obviously right off the bat, like it needs to be, biblically sound. There are worship songs that are not, and there's been songs that I love the way they sound and love the majority of them, but they might have a line in there, 2 lines that are questionable, and I don't ever want to, bring that into our church. So that's a big one. And then also just like some songs that come on the radio that people like aren't meant to be congregationally sang. And so it's kind of up to me to make that decision and decide, is this going to be easy to worship to, or are you going to have to think really hard to not, be the person that sings at the wrong time and then everybody stares at you or something like that? And so, and like, a lot of y'all send me songs regularly, and I listen to about 85% of the songs y'all send me. The 15 that I don't is probably because I got busy and forgot, and so that does happen. But I do want y'all to know, if you send me one and I don't add it, it's not that I don't like you or don't like the song, but sometimes I have to decide whether or not it's a good fit for our church or church in general, and go from there. So yeah, that can be challenging at times.
I don't know, really. I thought about this, and I was like, what in the world do you say here? Because there's a lot. There is a lot. So I decided to split my ministry in half. The first half of my pastorate, I worried a lot about what people thought about me, and I took a lot of things personal. Pastoring is difficult because you love and you love and you love, and people leave, and you go to see them and ask them why, and they say it's not you. But you still feel like it is. It's one of the few jobs that you do, and you're supposed to still be able to treat everybody the same, even though they might talk about you every time they walk out the door. And if you confront it, then you're a punk. So those things are hard for me, and I do take it personal. Not like I used to. I have learned now that most things said about people, if the person said them really knew them well, they would know that wasn't true. And so what I have to remember is that the people that are here and growing and getting what they need to get out of ministry know that's not true, and why do I really care what the others think? I can't really go around and put out those fires anymore. And then the other thing that I think is the biggest hurdle is that I think people in the pew forget that as times change, we have to too. And our whole job is redefined, just like teachers was redefined last year with COVID and starting all of the virtual things. Yes, 7th and 8th grade center. Or is it 6th? Whichever one's going virtual tomorrow. Anyway, we have to do it too. And, if I were to write a book to tell you my favorite thing about church, it would be different every 5 years. Because I've been at this pastoring 22 and 17 years prior to that, music and youth. And it changes. So you've got to change too. And you all are pretty good. Timothy's pretty good. I've been at churches that when change happened, it literally almost split it. So y'all do a pretty good job of it. And we don't sit around here, and I want you to know that, and think, why can we change this month and get them? How come? We don't think that either. I mean, I like the smoothness, but I also know that we have to change if we're going to meet the needs of people. Get to know you. This is a question Clay thought we should ask. If you were ordering pizza for your family, tell us what the order would be.
That was Allie. That was Allie.
Oh, was it you? I thought it was Clay. Oh, it was you. I remember now. Yeah, and was a little.
He just agreed.
Was a little offended when I said, "What in the world?" But anyway, go ahead. Steph, you start us.
Mazio's, thin crust Ken's sauce, 1 sausage, 1 beef with half black olives.
Okay.
That's what I order every time.
Wesley?
I do like Mazio's, thin crust. Our family likes no sauce or light sauce, right, boys? They won't eat it if it has.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, pepperoni. We're boring pepperoni and then cheesy bread.
Okay. Al?
Pisano's, Alpine, with a calzone, with ranch. No red, just ranch.
Jason?
Simple Simons, large pepperoni, medium supreme, calzone, and cinnamon bread.
Civil Simon's got the deal with them. Just go. Okay, go ahead.
This is just for me or my family?
Your family.
Oh,
Well, I mean, like your family.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway.
mine was just for me.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm ordering for me. I haven't done this concoction yet, but I plan to. Pisano's, Alpine, add sausage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steph's worshiping up here.
Add sausage directly to the Alpine.
Yes.
And, I don't know, 2 large calzones, extra ranch.
Feel free to send that to my house.
When he does, I'll be over.
The reason I said, so my family orders a large half Alpine, half sausage, because I like, their sausage is phenomenal. Leah loves their Alpine. The piece that connects is the 2 pieces. Oh, they're so good. So yeah, Alpine with sausage on it. That's going to be a killer.
Is there anyone in the room thinking, I might try that?
We
Few
have
of you
tried
are.
that. It is amazing.
My people.
Okay, good.
My people.
Well, when I thought about it, I honestly ordered something from 5 different pizza places if I was really going to get my favorites. But what I would really order is probably, most of the time, if my whole family was coming over, we would probably get Pisano's because that's what they all like the best. We would get Alpine, sausage, calzone, and we would probably get like a pepperoni because the kids like it. And then I would also probably get a medium or small Canadian bacon because their Canadian bacon's good, but I think I'm the
With
only one that
pineapple.
likes it. Yeah, I don't care for the pineapple on it, but you do.
Will you do me a favor? Will you say calzone one more time?
Calzone.
You said calzone with an I that last time, and I thought that was interesting.
But you said 7 things wrong, but I haven't pointed it out yet.
He said more than that, but you can't see him.
Yeah, now that's true. All right, so we're going to just take a small commercial break and let everyone here tell you what their favorite thing to eat is. Clay?
Oh, wow. Is this a single thing, or are you need me to get you something?
I'm looking for my water.
So it's on your right side.
See how much sympathy my
Yeah,
family gives?
Is this a single favorite thing to eat or a meal? Like I'm get to sit down.
You
and-
pick.
Okay.
Favorite thing to eat, you can.
Best thing I've eaten in a long time. Took my wifey on a hot little date, and we went to Cheever's Cafe in Oklahoma City, and I got what I get.
Oh,
Really left a mark on you.
Life-changing,
Hey.
people. Life-changing.
I ain't telling you. I ain't bullcorning you. Top 2 or 3 all-time meals I've ever had, and it was on like these cheesy scallop potatoes, and then it was a steak. But I'm pretty sure it was a ribeye. Ribeye, it's the best kind of steak anyway. And they had some. I don't remember what else was on it. I don't know. Look up their menu. There's 2 steak options. It's one of them. It's one with the cheesy
And
potatoes.
what was it sitting on top of?
Cheesy potatoes.
Cheesy
Well, you
potatoes.
just said potatoes, just so you know. You said it wrong.
That's how I say it. Anyway, phenomenal. I'm trying to get back there.
That's how they say it on the ranch.
I think it's, well, who is it? Jace.
8-ounce filet mignon cooked medium with grilled vegetables, squash, onion, zucchini, and a sweet tea. And I will finish with tres leches.
From Chewy's.
Chewies.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
With a sweet tea, does that mean you take Jamie?
Sweetie.
Okay, Steph. Jamie.
I'm so sorry, Jamie. I'm going to almost have the same thing as Jason. Well, I'm going to do a 6-ounce filet medium with a loaded baked potato. And I won't tell you what dessert I want because it would depend on the day.
I thought they would judge me if I did the grilled vegetables and a baked potato, because that's
Oh,
a lot
no,
of
give me
carbs.
all the starch.
Have you had her rosemary potatoes? Oof.
Are phenomenal.
Wesley.
Ruth's Chris, ribeye,
You bougie.
with their, they had some corn that, like, the corn was phenomenal.
I
It
feel
was
that.
legit. No baked potato. I can do that at home.
I've never had together what I'm
forgot
going
Allie,
to
too.
share. Oh, Allie, go ahead.
I can't, I have to do two because I can't pick between the two. So it would either be tacos, and I'm not picky about the tacos, or a Brahms burger and fries.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're so good.
I would take Joy's meatloaf. We had it for lunch today. It's my favorite thing in the world. Well, besides Taco Tico. And with it, I would prefer that she made her dressing, her stuffing, and the Brussels sprouts from Red Lobster. We made those at home last night, and they were delicious. So that's right now, today, that's my meal. Tomorrow, it could be different. All right, are y'all ready? Ministry question. What are some positives that you saw in your ministry area in 2021, and what is some of your vision for 2022?
No. Positives. I mean, we had 23 kids here the other night. We have a lot of new faces. There's been a handful of new families join lately, and we've got new people working. There's a lot of new faces working in the children's ministry, and one thing I would like to see is, like, our middle school section is kind of weak, and I don't know. I guess I want it back to how it was when I first started teaching. We had to split classes. We had multiple age groups and multiple classes, and we're not there yet. We're getting close, but maybe in a year, 2, 3 years, we have some type of middle school, like a legit middle school program. Don't know what that looks like, but we need something for the tweeners that aren't ready to go to youth, but are kind of aged out of our children's area.
Good answer.
Steph?
The positive is that we have a choir. There are a lot of churches that don't have one, and after COVID hit, it decimated several choirs, and when we got to come back, our choir came back, and not as many as we had before, but I am very thankful for what God has done. As far as a vision, I see us having a full choir loft again at some point. I know that there's a lot of things that contribute to our fear of being in front of people, and they're legitimate fears, and some of them have to do with health. And so I'm just praying that God will allow us to have a choir loft that is full of people praising the Lord again.
Allie?
For me, the positives in 2021, we added like a new member to our team and kind of filled in the base that we've been missing. And also through 2020 and 2021, where a lot of ministries suffered or saw, a decline in attendance, mine was the exact opposite. I really just saw how faithful and talented of a team that I have. And so it's incredibly encouraging to be their leader and to work with them, and they're awesome. Vision going into 2022, just to really, I don't have any major things that I want to change as far as worship goes or anything like that. Really just I'm in the process of praying and thinking and deciding about an Easter play and whether or not that's going to happen. Like as of right now, it feels like it would be a bad decision because COVID is ramped back up. But yeah, so I would love to do the Easter play because it's awesome. But also I don't want Jesus to have COVID the week before the play. So yeah, it's just a really hard decision to make, but I would love to see it happen.
Okay. Clay?
2021, I feel like we've made some strides in group camaraderie, which is a good thing. I think this was kind of the year where everything flipped. We went from totally high school heavy and a ghost of a middle school age crew to we graduated 10 or 11 seniors and lost a lot of leadership, and we got a lot of middle schoolers who've stepped up and have started coming. So it's kind of in a transitional stage, but I think it's a good thing. As far as vision for 2022, I was just talking to my crew in the planning meeting at 5. I have none. Battling culture, man. Completely, and students probably a little more so than adults because they are more submerged in it 100% of the time, but just completely comfortable with everything. And they see so much and hear so much all parts of the day, and they're comfortable with it. Christians are comfortable with it, and we've become complacent and comfortable with where we are. And so it's a battle with culture. Like, I see it all around. Like, it don't take long. Like, you look around, and you can find a dad in this room who's looking at his phone. And then I can look over, and I can see his son sitting a few rows over that's doing the same thing. And it's a battle with culture, man. And if that hits you, I threw a rock, just FYI. And so it's tough. It's tough. Do I have a vision? No. I was telling them, I don't know what 2022 looks like, but I feel okay. I feel like I'm doing what God's called me to do. And Eric was like, I've just been telling him, like, trying to learn to leave the results up to him. And I said, absolutely. That's what I've tried. That's what I'm trying to do as well. Be faithful to what he's called us to do. And I'm praying for a breakthrough and revival in me. And I'm praying for one in the youth workers. And I'm praying for one in the lives of the students. And I'm praying one for the people of Timothy. And so I don't have a vision for 2022. I don't think I don't think we're at a place where I should be looking for vision. If you want me to be honest, I think we're in a place where we just need to be looking for some revival. And so that's where I am. That's where the student ministry is. I'm also for some praying for, and man, I'm about to throw another rock. I ain't trying to throw rocks, but I'm praying for some parents to get a grip and stop handcuffing their kids and let them be a part, for crying out loud. They're part of everything else. So that's where we are.
Jace? Go ahead.
I was trying to let them cheer.
It's all good.
The positives in my area of ministry for 2021, I think, kind of came in the fourth quarter in our ability to gather together, and when, not really even in the fourth quarter, maybe in the end of the third quarter to the fourth quarter, and the things that we did, how many of you were engaged in those things, like so ready to be together, even though some things were limited in what we could do. It was refreshing to see our church family want to be together. And there are obstacles, obviously. You know, some people have health conditions and different things, and then there's this thing that seems to be always hanging over us right now that we have to take in. But it just seemed like there was a period of time there where we kind of got a glimpse into where we could be going. And my prayer is that things, I hate to use the word normal because I don't believe in that word, but things return to some sort of normalcy where we can gather and be the church comfortably. Comfortably is probably not the right word, but where there's not some sort of overarching fear that we're going to be harmed or we're going to harm somebody else by being together. I hope that makes sense, and that we can get back to saying, hey, we're going to do this, we're all going to do it together, and it's going to be fun, and there's not anybody in the corner concerned about the negative effect that could have.
Okay. I feel like positives in 2021 where that we kind of got to go back and watch people get saved and baptized, and it seemed like 2020 we didn't get very much of that. It seemed to pick back up. I don't know if that's because we got together more freely and people weren't maybe as apprehensive. And I also think in 2021 that it was our biggest financial year ever, just so y'all know that. It was the church's biggest financial year ever, and 2020 was prior to that. So the 2 COVID years with numbers down, God showed us how faithful He is again. Last year we were about 30,000 higher than we've ever been, and this year we were about 60,000 higher than that for an annual giving. So, those things like that, you look at that and you're like, we can allow ourselves to be handcuffed by COVID if we want, but God's still doing the things He does regardless of what we're doing. And He just does that. Other positives for me in 2021 is my grandkids came to Christ, 3, and another one already has this year, and that's pretty cool. For me, that's really positive. For 2022, a few people took the words out of my mouth. It's difficult in this culture that we live in with COVID, with pandemic, with erase. It's difficult to cast vision because you don't have a clue what's going to happen. We have to be, the church leadership is like a bobber on a pond. We're just sitting here doing this, and whichever way the current goes, we have to go, and because of that, it's difficult to cast vision. So what I found myself doing over the last year and a half, almost 2 years, and probably will most of this year, is being shorter range vision casting for like a quarter instead of for a year. Because then you kind of, feel like you can do what you want to do. But one of the things that I want us to do as a church family is to go through a particular study. I'm not going to share the name of that study yet, but I want the whole church to go through the study. I already have the study. I don't know how we're going to go about unveiling that. We kind of started chatting about it a little. So I want the whole church to go through that study. And then if someone hasn't, and I haven't found it yet, developed an evangelism strategy for the culture of America today, I plan for our staff to develop one and for us to implement it here to try to evangelize the lost world in a culture that's not quite anti-God, but pushing it. So those are the 2 things that I have in my vision package. Good answer, Pastor. Thank you. No, really, thank you. How can the church be praying for you personally and in your ministry? Y'all ought to be taking notes on this. If they're going to tell you, then you ought to be willing to pray.
How can the church be praying for me personally and in my ministry? Personally, We talked winter retreat, our youth winter retreat 2 weeks ago. The theme was personal holiness. And the reason that was the theme is because it's kind of been something that I've been, I don't know, not struggling with, but really kind of focusing on. And so I would say personally pray for me just in that God would be alive and well in my life personally. Not as a preacher, not as a pastor. Taking some big steps with our cattle and stuff in 2022. So you could be praying, just that would go well as well. And I guess for my ministry, just with everything that I just said at the last answer, be praying for that.
Jace?
I would second personal growth and a priority of that. What I had written down was just time and priorities, and that I would be more effective and efficient in both of them. I'll toggle back to our first question. The original personality flaw that I had written down was that I'm not very good at saying no. And my wife will tell you that the things that I tend to say no to are probably the wrong things, and the things that I tend to not say no to are probably the wrong things. So that God would help me, because here they're right, but they don't always come out right. So that God would help me to not mind to say no to the things that I should say no to, and that He would help me to prioritize my life and my family in the way that He would have it to be prioritized. And quite honestly, the ministry is the same way. My ministry is a little bit different right now in that the time, and I mean, everybody struggles with the ability to gather and what you can plan for, like what Al was talking about with the Easter play. Do you invest all of those people's time and effort not knowing what the probability that something will come to fruition is? And that's a decision that we a lot of times have to make with your time in mind. And we try to weigh that and do what we believe God would have us to do. Ultimately, when we put something out there, it kind of falls to us, right? So that, I think that would be my long and short answer.
Allie?
Well, currently, y'all can be praying for my families. We have a sick one, and hopefully that will stay the only one. Past that, if I'm being honest, I feel like the last probably 6 months or so, I've just kind of felt a little run ragged, mentally, physically, all the things, just trying to do everything and trying to be everything for everybody that I'm supposed to be. And so I think just I know I need to hand that over to the Lord and trust Him, and that He will lead me and guide me and sustain me, but sometimes that's hard. And so just that I will spend more time with Him and stay focused on what really matters, and not sweat the small stuff and not be a control freak. I don't know that that's ever going to be possible for me, but I strive to not want to control every little detail of my life and those around me. Ministry wise, kind of just what I already touched on, just that God would give me peace one way or the other with the Easter play, and how to move forward with that. I don't, you know, it just feels like, are we ever going to get to do it again? And that's silly, but that's just kind of where I'm at. So just that I'll know what he would have us to do. And yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of said it. You know, there's a little bit of presence and a sense of apathy among probably just the church as a whole, not just Timothy, but everybody. And I think just it's like Dad said whenever he was talking, it's sometimes hard not to take it personally, like when you're up here on stage leading in worship and giving it all you've got and really feeling the presence of the Lord, and then to look out and see people punching people or on their phone or whatever. You know, it can be frustrating not to take those things personally and get frustrated. And so I think just dealing with all of that, I think COVID has a lot to do with it. And we were out of church for so long and sitting on our couches watching. Well, I was never sitting on my couch watching, but y'all were sitting on your couches watching us. And you know, it just was, when we all came back, it just felt a little different. And we're still navigating through that. And so I think just, dealing with all the emotions and frustrations that come with that. And just how to move forward.
Steph?
Ministry, I would ask that you would just pray for our choir, that God would make it what he wants it to be. I feel like there are a lot of songs that we could be singing if we had more people, but they're difficult to do with the numbers that we have. And you hate to just say numbers, but the bottom line is we need more voices in our choir. And so I would ask that as you pray for the choir ministry, you would pray for God's leadership in your life, asking him if you are serving where you're supposed to be. Not just for the choir, but for the student ministry, for the children's ministry, for the nursery, for greeting, for everything. We need to be diligent about seeking what God wants us to be, not just doing what's comfortable, not doing what we've always done, but really seek him and see if there's an area of ministry that he wants us to work in that we haven't worked in before or that we need to go back to. So that's a prayer that I have for the choir ministry. For my personal life, I have a lot of new in my life right now. I've gone back to get my master's in school counseling, and my coursework this semester is going to be a challenge, and my new job is also a challenge. I have had several days just in this last week that I've felt very overwhelmed because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go, and there's a lot to learn, and there are a lot of things that I have to do that I don't know how to do, and I have to wait on somebody else to show me or tell me, or I have to get this question. I'm not used to having a desk full of stuff that just can't get done because I can't do it. There were some tears at school last week. So I just ask that you would, when you think of me, it's probably because I'm about to break down. And I know, they say, and Kenny told me when I texted him, please pray for me, he said, you can't eat a cow in one bite. I said, but what happens when you're supposed to be eating 17 of them at the same time? So that's kind of how I feel right now with my plate in my personal life. So I do covet your prayers.
Just to echo what Clay and Jason said, and really everyone, just personal relationship, just going deeper in Christ, and then just balancing work and family and church life. There's only so much at West to go around, and I have a hard time telling people no, and 2021 was tough. Told a lot of friends no. relationships, separate. It's hard. And ministry-wise, I pray for our workers that we're not just getting through a lesson, that we're building a relationship with the kids, building trust. I mean, a lot of these kids, they have heavy things that they deal with. And if they can't trust us, we can't help them with that.
How can the church be praying for me personally? I feel like in the last couple of years, less than 2, but more than 1. God has proven to me very vividly his hand on me and his faithfulness to me. Probably more so than he has in the previous 56 and a half years total. And it's been extremely obvious. Whether he's doing it more obvious or I started watching, I don't know. But because of that, I find myself more overwhelmed with him. I find when my thoughts go to his goodness, sometimes it's just overwhelming. So my prayer for you is that continues, that I continue to be overwhelmed with God, that I continue to want more of him in my life than I've ever had, and that he continues to mesmerize me with just who he is. For the ministry, I pray that the church and where God's people at Timothy and worldwide, the church would become a maximum part of their life instead of a minimal part of their life. Because if there's one thing COVID has done, it has made the church less important to people. And you might not agree, but you should sit in my shoes, and I bet you I don't bet you, but I bet you would probably agree with me. And I mean overall. You might be sitting here saying, Pastor, I'm sitting in this pew tonight. Yes, you are. Good job. I'm grateful for that. But I'm telling you, overall, the Church of God has minimized its importance in their life. And I pray, and I hope you pray, that from the dads in homes or the leader of the home, all the way down to the youngest kid, it would become more important at the December than it was in January. The Church of God. I also pray that everyone in our church under our ministry would be able to say at the end of this year that they're closer to God than they were at the beginning. And that God would lead these people up here and on the video and all of the workers that are doing the work to the right methods to make that happen. To where people actually are growing in Christ and not just coasting. Okay? Final words. Every staff member gets to have a final word. And Allie, you're going to be the first final word.
Okay, well, Kayla texted me about 10 minutes ago and asked if I was wearing cat ears. So I just wanted to clarify that this is a pillow and I'm not wearing cat ears. Final word. How about that praise team this morning? They were phenomenal and amazing. Y'all can clap for them. Yeah. Yes, I love y'all. I love TBC. I am so unbelievably blessed and thankful for the job that I have and wouldn't change it for anything. And yeah, that's my final word.
Thank you, Allie.
You're welcome.
Wes? Sorry I didn't give you this one so you could have Anna answer it for you. Just kidding you. Hi, Anna.
It's her fault. She's not here. I love you guys. I love your kids. They're pretty amazing. I miss them. I ran into one yesterday that's been missing at a ball game. And it's like he said, we want you here every service, you know. We love being around you.
Have I mentioned you too can be a part of the Timothy Baptist Church choir family? Really, it is fun. We have a lot of time, a lot of fun. We do a lot of just worshiping. We do a lot of fun things. We had a couple of choir retreats this last year that I thought were fun. Maybe, I don't know. They acted like they were having fun. We share prayer needs. We share praises when they're answered. It's kind of like a family within the family. So the choir is a great way to get connected with your church family. It's not just about singing on the stage. It's about the time we put in the choir room and building those relationships. And it's really, I can see how it's helped people grow in their walk with the Lord and staying connected. So consider it.
Clay?
I love y'all. I love Timothy. I'm mean. And I'm going to tell you how I'm mean. I think y'all will appreciate this. So we've been having some roof issues. The wind and all the weather and all the things. Yeah, she knows. So we've been having some roof issues, and there was a leak in BK's office last week. And Mike was fixing the leak, and so he had removed a ceiling tile and removed the big square insulation and all the things. He's been working on it. And me and Allie and Dad are in the office, and we are meeting over several things. And something just comes over me. And so I get up and walk to his bathroom and turned on the sink or something because I needed something to just I needed a diversion. And so I went and I turned the water on, I walked back off, and as I'm walking by, I grabbed that square piece of insulation and I throw it way up in the air right over my dad's head. And he hits it away, and I hit it right back, and he hits it, and when he hits it right in the center of it, and so it's just going like this. And it's just like, whack, whack, whack. And he finally wrestles it off, and I'm rolling, and he's covered in insulation, and he gets up out of his chair, and he starts chasing me, and I run through the office, and I run out of the office, and I turned and looked, and I never thought in a million years he'd still be chasing me, and I turned and looked just in time to see him rounding out that office. And I was rolling, and he was wearing a black shirt, and it was just like, he was glowing in like fiberglass. Oh, it was legendary. Yeah.
Jason?
Allie laughed. Yeah, I know, right? Allie was laughing all day. Kathy,
He kept coughing.
Yeah.
He kept coughing and saying he had inhaled
I still have it in my lungs.
Yeah.
And who did I hand the lint roller to clean me up?
Yeah, I lint rolled his shirt
Yes, he
because
did.
it was really covered. But anyway, I love being a part of TVC. I love working here because I get the opportunity to do stuff like that. And it really makes the day go by really fast. He got his neck injury from trying to fight the thing. Jay?
Hey, Jay, how are you, sir?
Tony!
Anthony, how about them Ravens?
Oh. Okay, Jace.
Love all of you guys. It's like I was just thinking today, we've been here like over 21 years, and that's pretty phenomenal. Been serving it'll be 14 years in May, and I mean, it's just really cool when you get up here every morning and look out, and there are people in here that weren't even born, and to see the growth, not only of the church, but of all of you, and that you still put up with me, and just thankful for what this family means to my family, because you really are just an extension of our household to us, and we love you and we thank you.
Why do you look like that? Okay, sorry.
I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, well, I would say that I don't know, because you don't really know how anybody else feels. You only know how you feel. And I am honored to be a part of this church. And when I look out in the congregation, I just feel love. I feel like when I see people, even if you're new, I immediately my mind goes to something that's happened with us. I see people in this room that the first teaching position I had in a church, at another church, you were there showing me what to do. I see it and I remember it, and it's humbling and it's encouraging. And I see people who have gone through something that literally sucked the life out of you. And I watched you endure, and I watched you hold tight to Christ. And some of you got to get in there and help you do that. And some, I was young and I just watched. But all of those experiences, when you look around a room and you realize that you are a shepherd of those people, it just makes you proud. It makes you proud of them. It makes you grateful. And I want you to know that God has gifted your pastor with something that I believe he gifted Jesus with. And when Jesus looks at us, even in the midst of our awful times, he loves us. He sees love. He sees one that he gave his life for, and that he would do anything to just help them have a better moment, much less a better life. And that's the way God's gifted me. Some people tell me sometimes, I don't want to come back to church, but when I came and shared all that stuff with you, I just know every time you look at me, you think about it. And God gifted me. I ain't got a memory worth squat. I remember you in my office. I don't know what you said. I prayed. We left that at the feet of the Lord. And that's a gift. And so I just want you to know you're loved, your family, and I think that we have the best staff around. And I thought it would be a good way to start the year for you just getting to hear them. You hear me a lot. That's why I wasn't even going to answer the questions. But today you got to hear everybody, and I hope it gave you some things to be grateful for and challenged you for prayer, to pray for all of them, and to jump on board and help us do what God's called us to do. All right? So give it up for the staff. Clay? Oh, wait, I have one more thing. I have an announcement. Next Sunday morning, a week from today, in the morning, I will be going to Loving Mount Calvary to preach. They are not comfortable with our whole church visiting on a Sunday night right now, and I'm not either. Okay? Because we more than fill it up. But we haven't got to do that. It'll be 2 years this month since we have combined with them. And they asked me to bring like one Sunday school class with me. Okay? And I was like, yeah. So I just thought I'd throw it out there. If you would like, they would like 10 or 15 people to accompany me instead of our whole church. And if you would want to go and you're not serving somewhere here during that time, we won't be having Sunday school next Sunday, so you'll be free if you're a teacher. Text me, get a hold of me if you'd like to go and just enjoy their worship there. You know what we do if you've been. It's an awesome time. And I would love for any of you to go that want to, but we will keep it around 10 to 15 people. So text me, and if I don't get a text from some people, then I'll be calling a few of you to join me over there. Okay? All right, Clay? Anything you have to say? Just no jokes, please. Don't have it at me tonight. No, I'm kidding. And you can dismiss us.
Speaking of, Mike Haley told me a joke earlier in my office, and it wasn't funny, even kind of. And so I guess I might know how y'all feel on Sunday mornings. But anyway, thanks for being here. Love you guys. I love saying lousy jokes. You know what? I kind of look forward to it's why I do it. So anyway, love you. From the staff, we love you and are honored to be able to work with you guys and serve you guys. And I'm going to pray and close this out. Heavenly Father, I come to you right now, and I just thank you, God, for the way that your hand has always covered TBC, how we have seen thousands of people come to know you and come into relationship with you through the ministries of this church. And God, that's all glory to you. And God, I pray that I know you're not finished here. I know you've got a lot to do here. And God, I pray that we could all be a small piece of what you use to bring people to you in Muskogee and the surrounding areas. And God, I believe that your people need a revival. And I know it starts right here. And God, I pray that 2022, I pray that, I pray that when we turn around and look back, we'd be just blown away at what you've done in us as individuals and as a body. We love you, God. Amen.